What's up, guys? It's Slick or Slick Mafia back again with another video. And before we get into this video, if you enjoyed at any point, please hit the thumbs up button. If we can get this video to 500 likes, that would be fantastic. It really helps the channel and I would greatly appreciate it. So getting into this video, I wanted to discuss and expand upon a topic that I brought up the other day that overwhelmingly people seem to agree with me on, but then I got some pushback from, I'd say, 15 to 20% of people. And it was all respectful. Like, it's not anything like people were really pissed or anything. But there was some negative feedback, and I just wanted to expand upon that and explain my thinking. So, of course, it was from when I discussed the Gotham Knights gameplay feature, which is that if you are not playing online, you cannot play dual play. So, for instance, in this gameplay right now we're watching, we see that another player has dropped in, but that is not AI. That is another human being that is playing online. You cannot play locally, so you cannot have a friend come over to your house and play co-op with them. There's no like split screen or LAN or anything like that, for one. So it has to be online, but most importantly to me, you cannot actually have an AI hero with you. It cannot be like an AI Robin is on your team. It has to be another human being. Otherwise, right now, if I didn't have a friend to play with online, let's say I'm the person playing Battle right now, then I would be playing the game fully alone as the only hero in the game, and I would be fighting all these, level 10 players or enemies by myself, and Robin wouldn't be spawned in with me at all. And I made the point that this is not necessarily something that I am a fan of. In fact, I'm not a fan of it at all. And I've gotten a lot of responses to that claim that I don't think are very valid or convincing, and I'll explain why. So one thing that a lot of people have said is, well, to make the feature of dual play with an AI, teammate instead of another human being, it would take a lot of time for the developers to develop that. And I don't deny that at all. Everything in video game development takes a long time to develop. That helicopter flying mechanic is going to take a lot of time to develop. That grappling mechanic is going to take a lot of time to develop. Like, everything in video games takes an insane amount of time to develop. I don't undermine that at all. And to build a huge co-op AI dual play system would be an undertaking. There's no doubt about that. But my problem is that this is something that has already been successfully done in superhero video games. I don't know if you guys have heard of this 2015 game called Batman Arkham Knight, but it's already done this. I mean, you can go back and watch Batman Arkham dual play gameplay. There is stealth dual play with AI, where you're playing with Batman going with Robin through Panessa Studios. There is combat, and then there is a stealth segment where you can actually control you can control Robin and tell him where to go as AI, and vice versa. You can play as Robin and tell Batman where to go, and then you can switch and do stealth takedowns. Again, that's kind of somewhat of a compromise because you're only playing one person at once, but the other AI will do stuff. Like, they help you out, And then in combat, there are dual play takedowns that you do command, and then all the while when you're not doing that, then when you're playing as Batman and Robin's with you in Panessa Studios, then Robin is taking out people as well while you're fighting a huge group of 20 people. In this case, what we're watching is two friends play together live online, which is totally fine. This is not something that necessarily affects me per se. I have multiplayer. Not only that, I have a bunch of friends that will easily play with me pretty much anytime I want. I could hit up, Jay or Alex from Podcast Now. I could hit up to Dinner with Jay. I could hit Salvage. I could hit Irogen. I could hit I know all these guys, right? They're all my buddies. So I plan on playing the game with them. So this affects me less than anybody else. Like, there are a lot of you guys who commented who were siding with me and were like, I don't have any friends that are into this stuff. Like, I don't have any friends that are into Gotham Knights in the way that I am. Like, if you're somebody that's going to play this game every day like I am, are you going to have somebody that will play it with you? I will, but if you don't, then that sucks. And I'm advocating for you. Again, I know a bunch of full-time YouTubers who cover this game full-time. I won't have any issue finding somebody to play with, but other people might, and I'm advocating for them because I think it's important that they have a voice as well. Because I don't think, and this is fundamentally my argument, I do not think that people should have a lesser experience because they're not playing the game online. Period. And the reality of it is, you have a lesser experience playing this game if you do not have a friend to play with online multiplayer. How do we know this? The game developers have already said this game is built from the ground up for dual play. You saw right there earlier in the combat, there is a dual play takedown similar to in Batman Arkham Knight. That gameplay does not exist if you do not have a friend to play with online. Moreover, the game director over at WP Games Montreal has said that the map size, the alleyway depth and width, like all of that is built from the ground up for dual play. They have totally revolutionized the gameplay with dual play in mind, with co-op in mind. And a lot of people have said, well, having an AI teammate would be so frustrating because they would just, the AI would suck and they do the wrong thing and they would do what you don't want them to do, whatever. I mean, yes, that's always the case with AI, that they're not perfect. But is it better than nothing at all? And the answer to me is a resounding no. I would rather have an AI ally with me who can bounce off of, the character that I'm playing. So let's say I'm playing as Batgirl. You'll notice throughout the story that I hope that there are dialogue exchanges between the two characters that you're playing with, whether that be online or single player. And I think one of the things that has really bothered me about this is a lot of people that have said, I'm not really interested in this feature, which is totally you're right. That's fine. If you're not into it, that you're not into it. Like a lot of people have said, I'm not really into this feature. I'd rather just play the game solo. I just want to play the game as Nightwing or Red Hood myself. I don't want to play co-op with AI. That's fine. That feature's already in the game. I'm not advocating for removing that. I'm advocating to add something that is not otherwise in the game. And my problem is people being like, imagine this boss fight right now with Mr. Freeze when it's just you, like you're just Batgirl. Like this boss fight's completely different, period. Look at what's happening. This boss fight plays out completely differently if you do not have an AI companion with you when you're playing the single player story. In this game, if it is true, which it is, the developers have said this, the game is built from the ground up for dual play. That boss fight makes it incredibly evident, right? When that's the case, then in my view, it is self-evidently clear that there needs to be dual play components for offline play as well, for single player. Now, Podcast Now, I saw a tweet from him that is accurate, that this is something that's been there from the beginning. It's not necessarily anything that's new, but it is something that's a concern of mine. Now we're watching a Degenerate J video just because it was the next thing recommended, and then K-Wings after. Hopefully he doesn't mind. I mean, he's showing the gameplay. I don't think he will. The thing is that it is already in the game. I'm not advocating for removing a feature that's already there. I'm advocating for adding something new. If you're not in favor of it, then fine. Just don't say anything. Just let us push for a feature that we want. And if you don't want it, then don't use the feature. It's really that simple. Now, some people have made the argument, well, if they spend time developing that, then that's going to take additional time and that might delay the game. I mean, I can't deny that. That's not wrong necessarily. It certainly could have adverse implications too when we get the game. But it's not a very convincing argument to me. My thought is, if you don't want to play the game with an AI companion, then don't play the game with that way. But to me, the way that I want to play this game and a way a lot of other people want to play this game, we feel as though we want to experience the dual play mechanics, but we don't want to have to be online. And this rubs me kind of like a lot of games that we experienced in 2017 or some of the Marvel's Avengers problems where it's like you're incentivized to play online, you're incentivized to play multiplayer, and it seems a little bit gimmicky, I guess. Gimmicky that in order to access this fundamental gameplay feature of dual play that you have to be online and playing with a friend. I mean, it rubs me the wrong way. I'm not a fan of it. I'm advocating for an AI, single player component. Also, there we go. That's just my personal opinion. Oh, it's a reveal breakdown trailer. That's why I was pausing. Okay, I'm an idiot. Anyway, that's where I stand on this. And I understand if some people don't agree. And now the heat is turned on, so I'm going to try to wrap this up because it's going to create background ambient noise. I understand that some people don't agree. That's just the way that I stand on it. And I'd like to know in the comment section below what you think. This is not saying I'm going to boycott the game or that I am not going to enjoy it if it doesn't have this feature or anything like that. Doesn't mean any of that. I'm still going to be playing the game day one. I just think it will be a lot less fun if Gotham Knights becomes Gotham Knight because I'm playing the game single player. I want the game to be Gotham Knights, whether you're playing multiplayer online with a friend or whether you're playing by yourself with AI. I want the game to be Gotham Knights, not Gotham Knight. And it really is that simple for me. But like I said, I'm not saying it's a deal breaker for me or that I will hate the game if it doesn't have this. None of that. It's just my opinion, and I'm curious to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys hearing out my opinions on this topic, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.